give a nice little introduction to Mark. So I've known Mark Williamson for probably close to 20 years back in New York. Um, Mark is one of these guys where he knows his business model better than most people know their business, which I think is such a fundamental core to having the kind of success this guy's had. What the relationships he's developed and the way he's been able to get business is pretty remarkable. And as Misty and I started chatting and this whole thing came about, Mark was the first person that popped into my head when it came to. So again, some of this information, some of the terminology is going to be a little bit foreign to a lot of you. It's just a different speak, you know. We call that more, or I do more, the traditional life insurance, the way life insurance traditionally had always been. Back in the day where you had a paper application, you were the field underwriter. Everything was on your shoulders. You had to collect the information and send it in. And on the traditional underwriting side, a lot of the brokers were typically like, all right, well, Misty, I'm going to put it in and I think, you may get preferred. And there was really not a whole lot of worrying from an agent's perspective that they came in at standard and then had to explain to the client, why is it an extra $40 a month? So through technology and everything that's come about, we've got access to some quoting tools. But the one common thing that I think gets overlooked, and some of you even have it on your name, is a field underwriter. And while, yes, technology, and there's some ways to expedite and move around, in its core, you guys should be 100% responsible for collecting the amount of information that's needed to determine whether this policy should get issued or not, right? You can't say, oh, well, it popped up on MIB or Script Check or Milliman or whatever. If you're building the kind of rapport you should be building with these clients, you're doing a fact-finding sheet, you're gathering the information, you're saying things like, the company is going to know every medication that's been prescribed to you, period. They're going to know it, they're going to see it, and it's going to happen very quickly. So I want to go through that with you. With Milliman, they're going to know if you've been in the emergency room, not always, but very often. They're going to know about your medical history. So let's go through it now, and then let me find the best carrier at the best rate. That will never change, no matter how good technology gets. You want to always be in a position to under promise and over deliver wherever you possibly can. When you are under delivering, you promise them something that you should have known they probably won't get. That should fall on you. Let's bring how with Mark, all right? We're going to list all of what I'm calling the traditional life insurance carriers that are falling through Mark. And, some of them was with this other organization. I think Misty and Jason felt comfortable enough after speaking with Mark and seeing what we're able to do to move pretty much all of them over. Right, Miss?
Yeah.
All right. So when we talk about Banner, the AIG, let's call it select a term, right? Corebridge. We talk about Protective, Symetra. I can go kind of on and on. Whether we add Prudential or Nationwide, all of those carriers that fit into that model will get you a list. They're all coming through me and Mark Williamson. Okay. And I think what I really wanted to make sure that we got from this, and when Mark jumps in, he'll clarify. Guys, there is a process that needs to be followed when you're looking to get a quote or looking to get a risk assessment. And the more information you provide, the more likely you're going to get a more accurate quote. When we talk about risk assessments, they can only give you a risk assessment from what you tell them. If you're not giving the whole picture, that one medication, that one circumstance could wipe everything out. So with Mark's system, and Mark, did you want to show your website or did you want us to pull it up?
No, I'll take care of it. So thank you. Thanks everybody for your time.
And he'll kind of guide you through all of that.
I talk quick, so if you need me to slow down or stop, just anybody halt me. Doing this coming up August will be 30 years. Basically, I'm a bottom line guy. Bottom line is I built a business on how I want to be treated as an agent. So I started in the career business as an agent, and I just felt like in this brokerage world that like everything fell into a black hole, you know, when it got out of the norm. And I just said, this is so simple. But what I realized is they didn't want to make it easy on you, because otherwise then you would always go and do that and you wouldn't sell the career shop or, you know, Northwestern's product. So blah, blah, blah. So, you know, for the last 29 years or so, we've kind of just built this widget on again, how I want to be treated as an agent. So everybody here at my company, my staff, understands that you put a piece of business in and you want to get paid. You want to get it issued, you want to get paid. But we all know garbage in, garbage out, right? So the more quality of something we get in up front, the easier it is to get it out and back. And we understand in a timely manner, if we can get that all done, we can get everybody paid. And that's what we're all here for. I mean, it's nice to write life insurance or coverage and make people happy, but the bottom line, we're all trying to make a living. So again, I'm not going to bore you with too much detail. I'm going to show you maybe a quick spot of our website. But I think on the more positive side, we've contracted, Misty, myself, and Adam agreed last week. What I'm going to show you, you're going to have. So instead of having to come on my website, decide what carrier, you know, because I have 40 carriers on my site. And you guys are maybe only going to use 5 or 6 that really meet your market. So we're building this out on your site, on Misty's site, and you're going to be able to do everything I'm showing you in one location, and it's going to be really simple. So it's going to be able to, you're going to be able to click, quote, person, client, insured says, yes, I'm interested, let's move forward. Click right there in that same screen to get application and take the application right there online. So that's really important. You know, I know Misty made a joke when I first jumped on, I got a guy. So we have 4 full-time underwriters on our staff. And Holly and I talked a little bit about this last week, and Holly's testing it and we love it. So, you know, I think she sent over 15 or 20. My office manager came in and said, we got 20 this morning. I said, fire them out. You know, I had a conversation with our underwriters and then told them that, you know, we're gonna slam you guys over the next period of time. You know, I need feedback from you guys. Tell us good, bad, you know. So as long as you give us good information in, I can give you good information out. And it's gonna take, we're never gonna be like, oh, what did you mean by this? We're gonna work with you, and over the next hopefully 30, 45, 60 days, let's call it, we'll zero in, and then you're gonna know exactly, you know, how to fine tune something. You know, like if you send a med in, you know, I want to know like how many milligrams, like, you know, certain things like that, but we'll zero in on that. I'm never going to fault you for trying to do business. You know what I mean? And my staff, they don't like it, but they understand it, that we'll take the business and figure it out as long as it's good business. But we're not going to halt you from doing business. That's the whole idea. Again, in the end, we need business in, and that makes everybody here happy. So we talk about, and we're going to get you this, everybody here on this call. We have an email box set up called I Got a Guy, you know. So it's literally, you could put in this information, say, hey, I got a guy, he's got this, and that going on. What do you think? And one of my 4 underwriters is going to fire back at you and say, hey, based on that information, here's what we think is appropriate, and here are the appropriate carriers. Now, my underwriters know what carriers you guys are choosing and want to do business with. So we're trying to pigeonhole them into those 4, 5, or 6 carriers. So that's one thing. Or they might fire back at you, hey, that's great, but here are the appropriate questions. Go back out to your client and ask them these specific questions. So we're not kind of just all over the map, and then get us those answers. And then again, we could get you an idea of how to quote it and where it's going to be. Again, this is going to be a learning game. So, you know, I want feedback. You know, if we're going to communicate with you guys, because I've already done this with Holly, I've said, You know, give me the good, give me the bad, because I gotta understand how each one of you like to do business. And we can note that in our system to make sure that we're handling it the way that you want it to be. Now, is it gonna be perfect? Absolutely not, I promise you that. Are we gonna make mistakes? 100%. But we're gonna correct them, you know? We also know that you guys probably work some weird hours, you could be all over the country. We are open till 8 o'clock Eastern. Our phones, somebody will pick up the phones if need be. We're not shooting you to if you get voicemail, everybody's on calls, but we're all over the country and our phones ring all over the country the same time. So it's just because I have an employee in Seattle, she gets the call just like I get it here in Florida. So again, you know, I kind of just wanted to put that out there. Misty, you want me to show my website?
Yeah, can you just give us a quick walkthrough? Because ours is gonna look the same as yours for the most
You got
part.
it.
You got screen share ability.
Yeah. Okay,
Perfect.
cool.
Thank you.
Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Everybody can see my screen?
I can definitely.
I can.
All right.
You're
so-
good, man.
I can
mean-
see it.
This is gonna be similar on your site. The two here, we have 8 boxes. These first 2 ones are the most important. So you'll be able to just literally come in here, quote, run a term quote. I mean, anything in yellow we absolutely need, so I just want to show you how quick you can literally run a quote here. Yeah, I'm just gonna do a 38-year-old female in Florida. Okay, let's say, you know, they want a 20-year term, 250,000. Now here, there's gonna be 2 options. There's an option here because I'm finding, especially group, if you know height and weight, let's say, I joke, I say, you know, I mean, it's obvious if you look at somebody as field underwriters and somebody's height and weight is off, you know, just from being around the business, you should understand that. So if that is the case, you can literally just come in here. Let's just make somebody short for their weight. We'll go 5'1", you know, 210. Okay, and you hit get quotes. This system will automatically know what carriers. It's live, this system, into the feeds of all the carriers. So based on a 5'1", 210-pound female, you know, at Banner, they could get standard non-smoker. Now, again, we're making an assumption that they're healthy and, you know, it's just, you know, they're heavy in this situation. Now, you might see other carriers here that you're not familiar with. We are gonna, when we put this on your site, it will only be the carriers that you're dealing with. So it'll be in price order. You can click here, you can go monthly. Let's say, you know, you're on the phone with the client and they say, oh, that's really inexpensive. I thought, you know, it would be way more. You can click here and show them 350,000. And then it'll add it right here. So you can literally click, you know, what you wanted to show, you know, click download comparison ledger, and now this will open up into a PDF. So again, if you're doing a Zoom or something like that, or if you're, you know, over the phone, you can literally email this to the client in 2 minutes, you could have it. It'll always show here all the different modes as well, annual, you know, semi, however you need to show it. If we come back here, let's say we knew, instead of height and weight, if we just knew, we said, hey, we want to show preferred, you can literally click that here. And again, all the carriers are going to pop up right here. It's real simple to use. Here's the other great thing about it is you'll see here instant decision. You're going to have access. I think it's 3 or 4 carriers that have instant decision. About 30% of the time, if you really give me a healthy person, the percentage will be much greater than 30%. But overall, it's about 30%. You can go from application to delivering a policy in less than an hour. It's insane. So like, you know, let's say you're on the Symetra, a company you guys are using. You can click here, apply, they say, let's do it. It'll literally open right into the application and you can start taking the app. This app takes about maybe 6 or 7 minutes to do. Once this app is done, it sends a link to the client, they sign, you sign, sends them a Part B, they fill out the medical information. Once that comes back to the carrier, within 15 minutes, they make a decision. 30% of the time, the case is just approved and it goes to issue, and then they're sent a link, they click on, they can make the payment and get the policy right there. When I say, okay, 30%, so what happens the other 70%? It kicks out because they're gonna do an MIB check, they're gonna do a script check, they run a soft credit report, and they run an RX. So they also do a little bit of an internet search in there too. So if it comes back and there's something, let's say a prescription comes up that nobody thought of or mentioned, it'll shoot them out another link saying, hey, we saw this, RX came up, could you give us some feedback? 30% of the time they give that feedback and boom, it goes back in and it gets issued. Those are done within 3 to 4 business days. So again, now 60% of them are being done like that. 70% of them are going no blood and urine. Now there's, you give me a type 2 diabetic who's, heavy and maybe has an enlarged prostate or something, that's getting kicked out and that's going full underwriting. There's just nothing we can do about those situations. But again, to me, in my brain is if we can get 30% of the time done in an hour, that's in the perfect world. That's assuming the insured does everything they're supposed to in a timely manner. It just cuts down everything. It makes it so much easier. So again, if you're in this application, and we're going to teach you how to use it. Another session like that, I could get into much more detail. We can literally fill one out. We can send a video of us doing it too. We have video of this, but it's literally this simple. So now what's going to happen is once that case comes in our house, you're going to be assigned a case manager, and then that case manager is going to communicate with you guys. We haven't worked out if it's going to be direct with the agent or if it's to Misty or however, or your team leader or however we're going to do that. That should be resolved this week. But you'll know where you stand at any given time on any of your cases. We can send pending reports. From a reporting standpoint, again, once we just understand how you guys like to see and get things, then we'll be able to do this to make it look and smell exactly the way you guys want. Did I miss anything, Misty?
Can you just go back and show right when you're getting ready to run the quote that if you remove traditional, it's also going to remove anything that's going to require fully underwritten. So if you want to avoid fully underwritten ones, just remove traditional.
But again, understand just because a carrier offers accelerated underwriting, and we can get you detail on that, they all have the right to go full underwriting. It's based on the situation. You give me a young, 18 to 40-year-old, healthy, no real issues. They're going to go through. They really are going to go through quickly. In addition, a banner, as we get you guys up and running, you're all going to get your own individual link. So you're going to have a link that you could put on your site. However, wherever you email somebody, you could shoot them that link and they can literally click on it and apply for the coverage right on that link. And you don't have to worry about then sending it to us. It's automatically in the system. It knows when they hit enter or send that it's coded to come back through our agency, so we can handle all of that processing for you.
That's great. And then Nick Redmond asked, and this probably varies by carrier, but when they send the link, is it text or email?
Either way.
Perfect.
Hey, Mark, go back and touch on how you also have those additional drop-down boxes, high blood pressure, etc., under enter health profile.
My cheat sheets?
Right down on that where you were.
Yeah.
Go back to the quote. You have it.
I got you.
You have it saved up top.
It's called X-ray. You mean here?
Yep.
Oh, because I didn't put any information. Sorry, guys, give me 2 seconds.
Mark,
Again,
while
like
you're
Mark
doing that,
said,
can I ask
whatever
you a
you're
question
putting
too?
in.
Absolutely.
Go
Yes.
ahead, Adam.
No, go ahead, Holly.
So when your wife just sent me over this amazing like printout from Gerber for a final expense. Are we gonna have access to do those to send out to our clients? Because that is like a beautiful illustration. Because you know, a lot of people, once they're a little bit older, they want some information about like, you know, what they're getting into. And the way that that is just like, and I love that, I don't know if I can show it or not. The
Well,
way
Holly,
that
Gerber's coming through us. It's not through Mark.
it's not,
Nope.
okay.
That's fine. We'll. You could still, we could say, I don't care either way, as long as you're getting the material you need. So we could, if you ask for something, the system knows that it's going to Adam, not to me. So we don't need to worry about that for this conversation. But if I have marketing material and it's on carriers that you're doing with Adam versus us, we'll give you all the material you need, don't you? You have access to everything. You have access to all my material product. That'll all be done behind the scenes. So going back here, add health details. Yeah, you could literally put in any of the information that you need. Is that what you were asking? This is called
Yeah.
X-ray. I know that you guys have been using, what is it, Evaluate? So, which, again, we've done some research and we have some information. For the part of this conversation, like I was saying, let's just, you know, reach out. I'm gonna get what I call our 411 to Misty today. That however she wants to get that out to you guys and communicate, that it'll give you the access to I got a guy. And I think that's a really good starting place right now. But yeah, we're open for business. We're excited. We think we can make your life easier, you know. But you know, we're gonna fire back at you a little bit if you're giving us, I hate to use the word garbage in, but if you're giving us stuff that really doesn't give a story from an underwriting standpoint, we're gonna fire it back at you. So again, let's just keep an open line and let's communicate.
Yeah, just paint the picture of your guys, you know, so that they can really see what they're working with. That's gonna get you the
Absolutely.
accurate information back.
I don't know if you want to open it for a few questions or however you want to handle it. I'm good.
Yeah, anybody got questions for Mark?
No?
Yes, I do. This is Linda.
Hey, Lynn.
All right, so on the quoting tool, when you go direct to application,
Yep.
does that carrier already log us through, essentially bypassing our login information, or do we have to go through a login process and then direct to application?
I mean, it's kind of two parts. I see Misty shaking her head. When you when you come onto my website, you have to
Yes.
register for my website. Once you're registered for my website, it knows who you are. So
Okay.
if you're submitting an application, it knows that and that it's part of our system. So as long as you're licensed, it's identifying you. And
Okay.
it goes right into a hierarchy, and that's how all our reporting is done. So yes.
All right, great. Thank you.
Any other questions for Mark? I'm sure there'll be a bunch once they dive in there, Mark.
Earlier he mentioned a cheat sheet and I hopped on just a couple minutes late. Did he show that or can you show me how to get to it?
Yep. Here we go.
He's
Okay.
gonna send this over to me too, Amanda, so I'll get it added to our training site.
Yeah, so
Okay,
you're gonna
perfect.
I'm gonna give them all. So basically, we have and we could easily
Oh.
build this out on the new site. And it's a cheat sheet for pretty much anything. You give me like BRCA gene. The biggest ones are smoking. If people are chewing, dipping, Zyn is the big thing now. Do we have carriers that are on your platform that they can get standard non-smoker or better? Marijuana usage is another huge one that we've built out cheat sheets for that. So you know how much, you know, based on how much they're eating or smoking, that you're going to the appropriate carrier and and you're proposing it the correct way.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I got a question, Mark. Thanks again for hopping on here and pouring into us. So can you walk me through, so if I fill out the app, right, I'm not doing the medical, that gets sent to them. So can you kind of walk me through like a non-instant decision client experience so that I can like be aware and kind of help coach them through that, from like them filling out the medical stuff to them getting the banking? Can you kind of walk me through that a little bit if possible?
Yeah. So again, that first link where it says start application, it's such a basic information type of stuff. You're gonna fill that out with them, or you might even know that information. Most of the time, you're gonna know it. It'll take you 5 minutes. Boom, you let the client know that they're gonna get a link to sign off of. They sign off of that. And basically, it's the part B that's coming to them. They're gonna fill out that part B. You know, if somebody really knows their information, I'd say 10 or 15 minutes, start to finish, that they could do that. And then once that goes into the carrier, they're gonna be communicated based on that email that you put in, and you're gonna be communicated the same communication that they are. So you'll know where it goes the whole way. So let's assume it goes and it doesn't go instant decision. It'll kick an email to them stating that it was an instant decision, but you know, if there are a handful of additional questions, the questions won't be in that email, it'll be a link, because everything has to be so HIPAA compliant. So they'll go back in, they can respond to that, and then they can move forward. Again, if it doesn't, let's say that doesn't happen and it gets kicked out for full underwriting, they will actually take it from there and set it up for full underwriting. They could set up the exam, they'll do everything. And you'll be communicated. And then it's hitting my office all the way through that process. So your case manager is aware of what's going on. And is in addition to the emails you're getting, the case manager will start communicating with you so you know what's going on.
Love it.
Okay, follow up then, if okay. So we'll be contacting basically your team, your case managers to like walk that through, or will we be contacting the carriers directly?
No, you don't have to do anything with the carriers. I think you're gonna have one dedicated case manager, like each person is gonna have a case manager. You're not gonna have half your cases with one half, so you'll be able to build a relationship with that case manager. They're gonna understand the way you like things, the way you like to do business. Every 4 business days, no matter what, that case is touched in-house if it's full underwriting. So let's say we're out for APS or something like that. You know, even though, let's say the doctor's office tells us it could be 3 weeks and we can't do anything, you'll still get communication every 4 business days telling you, here's what's outstanding, here's whose responsibility, whether it's your responsibility, ours, or the carrier's, and it'll all be dated, and it's through our CRM that we use. But
Okay.
that's how a case manager they have a dashboard, and every day they come in, they have to work every single case that's in that system. And then I think you'll understand. The one big thing I tell everybody about our company is we over communicate when it comes to that stuff. Like there's no Excel spreadsheet coming out. Like you're getting a status, you know what I mean? You're gonna know what your status is. You're gonna know who to contact or whose responsibility it is.
Awesome. And then one last thing on the same kind of vein, it gets approved, like say it's not instant, but it's accelerated. They ask additional questions, knock it out, cool, approved is applied for. Then about the banking. So they just get another email with a link and they go in and fill, because in my experience, the deal's not closed until they give you the commitment of giving their bank info. You know what I mean? So it's like there's a gap there of like from sale close to when they're actually committing. So what's that process look like?
So it's twofold. So the easiest way is to have them do the ACH, or if they're gonna pay monthly with the application, and it's there. It asks you, you want to pay, and it asks you, do you want to fill it out now or later? I would tell you 80+% of the people fill it out later because they don't want to deal with it. They just want to keep moving in the process. But if you got that done there, it happens. You know what I mean? It notifies them, it tells them it's time for payment. We already have your information, let's go. Or you could then put it in at that back end process. You know what I mean? So you have two choices.
So I'll be able to fill it in up front. I'm sorry if I'm asking that question.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, that's all I got, man. I appreciate you, Mark. Thank you.
Look, we're gonna put together a process, a timeline, on this, because right now just throwing some darts at you, but it's almost going to be identical for every one of these carriers that fit into that model. If it's a quick ticket and drop ticket, it's going to go through very quickly. Following the process, if they need to go get an exam or doctor records, the processes will stay the same for the most part. There may be some nuances that one carrier is a little different than others, but we'll get that to you on a follow-up. I think we just wanted to make this introduction today because I know I got Bruce standing by. But any other last questions? Anything that's important you want to get out?
Now we're excited. Let's do some business.
Yeah.
We'll have fun.
Cool.
I promise you.
Yeah. I'm going to follow up, guys. I promise. I'm going to get you some more details that bring a lot of clarity to this process. It's been a process. Okay. So we're working on it. We'll get it to you. Thank you, Mark. I'll speak to you a little later.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
My pleasure.
Bye-bye.
All right.
No, I saw
And from
Bruce
one fire to the next, huh, Misty?
You say I saw Bruce log on.
Yeah. So I've got
There he
Bruce
is.
Barak again, another old schooler. Bruce and I have known each other for a very, very, very long time. We've traveled the world together. We have had a lot of fun. We've built a lot of business together. Bruce is the senior vice president of all sales for Foresters Financial. The guy knows this business. And I felt that now that a lot of people are either just coming out of that 3-month transfer window or they've never been appointed with them at all, we've been aggressively throwing in Foresters contracts to them. Now they're taking a little while. Foresters just did a deal with Allstate. So believe it or not, Allstate, their internal captive company, is going to start selling Foresters financial products. I don't know if they're the same products or they're different, Bruce, but contracting's taking some time. The one thing I got to throw out is they are a fraternal. In certain states, you must have your fraternal life license, non-negotiable. New Mexico, is it PA?
New Mexico, Connecticut, Massachusetts.
Okay, so those 3 states, you will get notified about it. In fact, I know I sent a few emails out to people saying, hey, you don't have your fraternal license in New Mexico. It's just an administrative thing that you need to do. Do you guys still reimburse the amount once it's done? Right, so there's a fee to it. What happens is, as soon as you, I think, write your first piece of business, Foresters will actually reimburse you for that fraternal license cost. Okay. I'll turn it over to Bruce. I'll let him take you guys down the road. There's some exciting things happening with them. I don't know if he'll let me announce it all today or not. But this is a company you guys want to have in your back pocket. You want to know them. You want to know them really, really well. And I think Bruce will give a snapshot as to why.
Yeah,
Mr.
Adam,
Barak.
I thought, I don't know if you're bragging or complaining that you've known me that long. And also, the one thing when you said that, we've built and then you paused and then said a bunch of business, I was also going to think you were going to say we built a number of playgrounds, which we have done.
Okay.
We've done so much
We have done that.
work. And that's really some of our mission, right? One of the things that I really take close to heart. So, what I'll do is I'll share my screen so that I can pull up.
You guys may detect his Canadian accent, former hockey guy, but he's not a New York Ranger, so I really don't care.
Let's go Oilers.
Oh, boy.
Well, see, I grew up in
Let's
Calgary.
go Panthers.
There you go. See,
Oh,
I
God,
grew
no.
up in Calgary, so I hated the Oilers. So, but yeah, it's exciting times for sure. And yeah, I grew up as a Philadelphia
Thanks, Nick.
Flyers fan. So,
Oh, I know.
Yeah, yeah, we all
Anyway.
have demons, people. We all have demons. As Adam said, this is really exciting times, and for Foresters, it's ultra exciting. This year is going to celebrate our 150th anniversary, and when you think about companies, how many companies can brag about being around for 150 years? I'm not talking just insurance companies. I'm talking any kind of companies. And for the most part, there's a picture of myself and our founder, Dr. O. Here's the thing that I want to mention about Dr. O. Dr. O was the first Native American medical doctor in North America. And what he believed in is this: the ultra rich are not the only ones that should be able to have life insurance. It should be available to all people. So back in 1874, at that time, it was typically just the ultra rich that were able to purchase life insurance. And he created Foresters as a means for everyone to have the opportunity. And I really think that's so special, especially when we think about today, because for the most part, our clientele is middle America. Our clientele is living paycheck to paycheck. Our clientele is the ordinary person. And that really sets true for who we are and what we are. And as Adam mentioned, we're a fraternal benefit company. If you have your phones, go ahead, take a picture of that screen. This is your Foresters team. Now, we have thousands in our home office that are all dedicated to you, but this is the team that's going to be with you on the day-to-day if you need us. Myself, Mr. Jim Tom, Ms. Cheryl Gaston, we are all here to make you successful. Well, we're here to make you more successful. We already know that you're successful. Why? Because on a Monday morning, you're dedicating your time to learning and earning more opportunities to increase your productivity, to increase your avenue of opportunities. And that's really where Foresters comes in. As you can see at the very bottom there, our sales support desk, I'll talk about that a little bit later. But for the most part, our sales support desk is really phone a friend. It is about making sure that people have this opportunity to take care. Now, we're not going to be able to take care of everyone, but for the most part, we have the products and the portfolio to really help a lot of people. And that's what we've been most successful at. Now, as I mentioned, as a fraternal, we offer something that's very special, and that's the member benefits. Now, I think that by using these member benefits, you're gonna learn how to maneuver them into your sales practice. So you're gonna use them when you're cold calling, when you're trying to get that relationship or get that appointment with a client. You're going to use it during the appointment itself. You're going to use it in the closing, and you're going to use it when you follow up. The reason being is, I believe by using these member benefits, you're going to get more appointments. You're going to get more people saying yes to what you are talking about. They're going to keep it on the books a lot longer, and they're going to give you more referrals. And referrals are just free leads. In fact, they're great leads because they're warm leads. Now, you don't need to know all of the member benefits. It's good to know a number of them because you're going to see that they are the hot buttons that are going to really make an impact with your clients. Because it's not just about the life insurance that we're talking about. It is about what else, what is the value add that you can offer to your clients. Now, these member benefits come at absolutely no cost to the insured, and some will include their family as well. Now, the one that I really key in all the time is Law Assure. I think that Law Assure is one of the most important member benefits that we have. Reason being is that, think about this. How many of your clients have a will? Because without a will, in the event of their untimely passing, there's a thing called probate. And when your clients have to go through probate, that just means their financial means of really their estate does not get handed over to their family and friends, to their beneficiaries. It's having to go through the government and attorneys which are going to take their piece of that pie before it gets pushed on to family and friends or the beneficiaries that the deceased has wanted. Well, with LawSure will allow you to direct your client who becomes a Foresters member to an online document preparation service in order to create their own will, create their own power of attorney, create their own healthcare directive at absolutely no cost. They will print it off at no cost. They can get it notarized and it becomes a legal document. Can you see how important this item is? In fact, the reason I look back and I say, why is it that most Americans do not have a will or a healthcare directive or a power of attorney? Well, most of the time, it's one, because they're never told they have to have it. And two, because they don't know the price of it. Well, if you can offer something for free, what is the price? It comes as part of their Foresters package. We're very big into families, into children-based activities and initiatives, because one of the biggest advantages that we have as a fraternal company is that we don't pay taxes. We don't pay state tax, we don't pay federal tax. But whatever we would normally pay in taxation, we must give the equivalent amount back as a benefit to the members initiatives, to charitable organizations, especially those that revolve around children. Also to communities, the communities that we work in, the communities that we live in, because not necessarily are the communities that we work in where we also live. So therefore, at Foresters, we're mindful of that. When I look at the orphan benefit, think about this. If you're out there doing mortgage protection, if you're dealing with people between 30 to 50, they typically have children. So it's not only the house they have to be concerned about. They should also focus in on maybe taking care of the children through the children's term rider, and I'll talk about that in a bit. But the orphan benefit, in the event that both parents pass away, each child under the age of 18 will receive $900 per child per month. I'm just letting that sit in. Then we have the orphan scholarship. In the event that that student loses one parent, both parents, or a single parent, they can have up to $6,000 per year, renewable for 4 years, to go to a post-secondary education facility. Now, when I talk about those two member benefits, I always say knowledge does not equal power. We've heard that statement, knowledge equals power. I do not believe it, because no matter how much knowledge you have, and we know some smart people that got no power, but you need an action plan. So consider this. You got a husband and wife. The husband buys a $100,000 20-year term, paying $33, $37 a month. They have 3 kids, 1, 3, and 5. Well, here's the scenario. On a Saturday evening, they make it date night and they decide to go out for an evening of dinner and dancing. On their way home, an 18-wheeler flips on top of their car and they're immediately crushed. Now, we don't want to see that happen, but it does happen. And it did happen in Phoenix, Arizona. And the husband had a $100,000 20-year term with Foresters. Now, like every other company, Foresters pays off the $100,000. Now, the question I ask at this point is this. When we pay that death benefit, is your job with the family done at that time? No. For the most part, it's just starting again. Is our job as a carrier done once we have paid the death claim? For the most part, most carriers are going to go, yeah, we paid the death claim. Everything's done. At Foresters, we don't believe that. We believe that we are with you in that we should take care of the family. This is when they need us most, because we all grieve differently. And there's the emotional and the financial. We don't know how long the emotional will take, but we want to make sure that they are protected financially. And that's the key. So therefore, not only will Foresters take care of that family, and pay off that 100,000 like every other insurance company would. But remember the orphan payment? That orphan benefit, $900 per child per month until they hit age 18. That's going to be almost $500,000 of additional funds to that family. Then they have the orphan scholarship. Each child, if they go to a post-secondary education facility, would be eligible for $6,000 per year, renewable for 4 years. That's $24,000 per kid, $72,000 all in for that family of 3 children. Now, it'll not bring their parents back. I understand that. But the key here is taking care of the family. So because you had them get their insurance through Foresters, in this scenario, not only did we pay off that $100,000, but we gave them over $550,000 of additional benefits through the orphan benefit and the orphan scholarship. What other carrier does that? What other life insurance carrier cares like that to do that? That could be a drop the mic moment. In fact, if you're talking about it in that manner and you're putting that out on the line for that family, and you can use a specific scenario for their children, figure out how old they are and when they hit 18, and then $900 per child per month, and figure out what kind of benefit that could mean for them at no additional cost. That's where it gets real. That's where you see that it's going to help you. We also have the competitive scholarship. You don't have to lose a child in order to apply, but there is an application process. They have to have a grade point average and they have to have so many community service hours, because we believe in giving back. We believe in doing good for our areas. We give out 300 of these each year within North America. They're worth $2,500 each. But again, it's something that they can be involved with, because who else does that? I know right now, a lot of companies, a lot of organizations are talking about what they do in the community and the volunteership, but nobody can say that their mission, like Foresters, is really focused on being part of the community, is about giving back and about doing good. We have a diabetes benefit that's going to help your clients that are living with diabetes, and I'll talk about that a little bit later as well. We have our member deals. We have lifelong learning and Foresters Renews that allows people to further educate themselves. And then we have Foresters Cares and Foresters Moments, which are just financial funding that we allow for our members, your clients, to give back, to do something in their community on a lower or a big level, to give back, to be part of volunteership plus the financial portion. So again, if you haven't seen it, you should see by now. By using the member benefits, you're going to get more appointments. You're going to get more people that say yes to what you're talking about. They're going to keep it on the books a lot longer, and they're going to give you referrals. But that's just part of what we talk about. Let's talk about product, because that's really what you wanted to learn about. You know, I break Foresters down into 3 ways. Here are 3 niches that we have. We have our senior life final expense burial. The Plan Right product has 3 plans built into the one product, real nice and easy application, paper or the virtual. You're going to do a telephone interview point of sale. Before you get off that telephone interview, you're going to know where the eligibility is determined. And then you just send the application into Foresters. You already know, because the underwriting is really done on the telephone interview, where the client qualifies. So it's fast issue, means quick pay to you. Now, when I say fast issue, 84% of the Plan Right applications that come in will be issued within the first 24 hours. Simplified issue, non-medical, traditional life insurance products. I'm talking about term, participating whole life, cash accumulation, universal life. When I talk about simplified issue non-medical, I mean just that. No blood, no urine, no APS, no paramed. Just take the application, send it into Foresters. We're going to review the application, run an MIB prescription check, and do an ID verification. And then we are going to either accept or decline the coverage. Now, we do have fully underwritten on this, but the focus really for the most part is simplified issue non-medical. Then we have a couple of supplementary products. We have the Bright Future Juvenile Whole Life and the Prepared 2, which is an accidental death product. Now, I will mention on the Prepared product, you do need a health license in order to sell it. But both of these products really are there to supplement and complement what you typically have already sold. The Bright Future really works after a plan right sale for that grandparent to buy something on their grandchildren. The Prepared, for those people that may not get any kind of coverage. Now, it's not a guaranteed issue, but it's quasi because there's only 3, in some states 4, health and lifestyle questions. Now, but it only pays off in an accidental death. Also, we do not do business in New York State. We exited that state a couple of years back just because of the restrictions that we had. But again, we have not seen the fall off on that. So again, we're really looking forward to working in the other 49 states and driving what we are. Let's dive a little bit deeper into our products. So when we talk about the term products, we got Strong Foundation, which is non-med, and then we got the Your Term, which is fully underwritten. Now, this is one of the things that Adam was hinting to. So keep this under your hats, but as of July 15th, we are going to be relaunching the Your Term non-med product. So therefore, when it comes to term, you're going to have really 3 products. You're going to have Strong Foundation non-med, you're going to have Your Term non-med, and you will have Your Term fully underwritten. All 3 are really built on the same chassis. 5 term periods, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30-year term. Minimum age will be 18. As you can see, on the 10-year, you can go up to age 80. On the 15-year, up to age 70. It is age nearest birthday. So therefore, whatever that birth date is, it's a 6-month before and after window that you have to be mindful of. Adam, is there something that you want to say?
I'm not seeing any. Oh, there we go. Okay, I had to just lower my screen to see your slide.
Okay.
And it's up to 400,000, or you went to 500,000 now.
Correct. So okay. On the Strong Foundation non-med, up to age 55, you can have up to $500,000 on a simplified issue non-med basis. Now, why do people buy term products? Well, because it's inexpensive, because it serves a need. In fact, the way I put it is this. If you're looking at Foresters, as for the first time, the 2 products you really should dig into will be Strong Foundation non-med and Plan Right Final Expense. Reason being is those are the 2 products that really will secure your foundation. When we get the Your Term non-med, that will slide in there as well. But term and final expense are really going to be the 2 major products that build up your foundation of products. As I mentioned, the Your Term can be fully underwritten and offer a number of risk classes. Now, one of the nice things that we have on Strong Foundation, and this is what will set it apart from the Your Term non-med, is it has a number of broader underwriting guidelines. So first off, when we talk about tobacco, as Mark had mentioned, every carrier sort of has their own definition about how they handle tobacco or not. For us, on Strong Foundation, tobacco definition is cigarette use only in the last 12 months. So therefore, if you have a client that smokes a cigar or a pipe, that vapes or uses chewing tobacco or one of the substitutes, they will be classified as non-tobacco. Now, we all know how big of a situation that will develop, because as people get older, life insurance typically goes up. But when they are a tobacco user, that rate goes exponentially. It explodes. So if you have the opportunity to offer your client a chance at getting a non-tobacco rate, you better go for it. So again, non-tobacco definition on strong foundation and strong foundation only is cigarette use only in the last 12 months. So if they smoke a cigar, a pipe, vape, chewing tobacco, or one of the other substitutes, they would be classified as non-tobacco. We're very liberal on how we handle people living with COPD. As long as it is mild COPD, they are a non-smoker and they are not taking any other inhaler or prescription steroid, then they typically will qualify for the strong foundation. Also, strong foundation is very big in how we handle people living with diabetes. For the strong foundation standard product, we typically will take somebody with an A1C of 8.9 or less. Again, 8.9 or less on the strong foundation standard product. Now, when we talk about the Your Term non-med, it is the stripped down term product. So therefore, none of these rules shall apply. On the Your Term non-med, tobacco will be any nicotine product. It is not as lenient on COPD nor diabetes. Now, one of the things that we did at Foresters in regards to strong foundation term is that we started looking at the diabetes market. And in fact, we said, you know what? We're okay with that market. You know what? Many carriers will shy away from it, but at Foresters, we do not. Why not? Well, for the most part, we know most people living with diabetes are managing it, are controlling it, whether with prescriptions, medications, or diet. But one of the main things is they are typically going to see a doctor on a regular basis. So therefore, that's really keen to us, because we want to make sure that we have our clients seeing a doctor on a regular basis. Insurance companies, they do not like people like me that go for the annual physical every decade. But that's the truth amongst things, is that sometimes that's how it is. But we are okay in this market. And in fact, when we take a look at the A1C, we'll typically take somebody with an A1C of 10.9 or less. We developed 3 new plans taking 6 tables. So the strong foundation will go to the strong foundation standard product will go to a table 6 underwriting. Then from tables 7 to 12, we'll come into the substandard product. Now, the substandard is just geared towards people living with diabetes. And therefore, you will have the 6 more tables defined for the substandard product. In fact, we put the decision right into the palm of your hands. Go onto our website, go into products, take a look at the diabetes rating calculator. It's going to ask half a dozen questions. It's going to ask, does the proposed take insulin? Just because they take insulin does not mean they're going to be declined. What is their current A1C rating? How long have they had diabetes? What is their current age, height, and weight? You're going to hit the submit button, and at that point, it will come back with either the substandard in which table, a standard, or the possibility of not being eligible. But again, I'm going to tell you this. I actually will tell you that if you use this, you are going to be surprised about how many times the answer will be a lot different than what you're expecting, especially in this market, because most people that have diabetes that have applied for life insurance have been declined. And I know none of you have any of those kind of clients, but the truth is that 30% of the US population either has diabetes, pre-diabetes, or has diabetes and doesn't even know about it. Now, most of the strong foundation riders and features are also available on the substandard. The only difference would be on the accelerated death benefit rider, that the critical and chronic illness are not available. Terminal illness is part of the living benefits or the accelerated benefit. You can still do it on the paper or the e-app. If you are doing a paper application for the substandard, remember to do the diabetes questionnaire. Reason being is that you don't want to have the underwriter come back after the fact and say, oh, you've got to do the diabetes questionnaire now, when you can give them that information at the front end because you know the client has diabetes. And yes, it is convertible. So one of the biggest advantages of our term products is that you can convert. So remember when I said this is a foundation product, this is a starter kit that gives them the opportunity of getting into a convertible product. Our conversion definition is it has to be done the sooner of age 65 or 5 years left in the term period. But again, it's convertible, whether it be the strong foundation standard, strong foundation substandard, the your term non-med when it's launched, or the your term fully underwritten. You have opportunities to then move them from a term product, which means temporary, into a permanent product in the Smart UL or the Advantage Plus, either the cash accumulation universal life or the participating whole life. And oh, by the way, as long as they keep the term product for at least 2 years, so they have to have it at least 2 years and then they convert, we'll pay you a brand new full commission. So you can get paid twice on the same client just by making sure that you are taking care of them. Adam, you got a little tidbit?
Yeah. And listen, I'm a generational seller. Okay. I'm going to sell the husband, the wife, the aunt, the uncle, the cousin, the neighbor, and everybody in between. That's just how I built my business. And I hope that, you guys really, really start to understand the power of conversion. We've got a carrier that, the premium's going to be higher, but more likely to get approved on an insulin-dependent diabetic that's probably smoking something other than cigarettes. So you just locked in someone at a standard rate that's an insulin-dependent diabetic, maybe dips or does other things, marijuana or what have you. You get a non-smoker standard rate approved. The odds of you getting that with one of the other carriers that are traditionally a lot more underwriting, the Banners, the AIGs, etc. Then you can convert them or a portion of the policy into a permanent plan at the non-smoker rate, and they would have probably not qualified at being an insulin-dependent diabetic. I mean, I'm not talking a little bit of insulin, somebody who probably would not have qualified, and with a fairly liberal height and weight. That should be a marketing plan that you have. It should actually be a deliverable to a client that says, I'm not looking just to get you a little bit of term insurance right now. I'm thinking about your future, and the odds of you losing your diabetes is rare. If anything, you got to pray you maintain it and it doesn't get significantly worse. Right. And I would go into anyone who fit remotely in this situation and have already planned out, hey, listen, we're going to get you 200,000 in a 20-year term. Next year, I'm not worried about commissions as much. If you guys want to wait at least 2 years and get paid again, I want to convert 50,000 of this into a permanent plan for you. Okay, so your term will go down to 150. I just gave you 50,000 of permanent life insurance at a non-smoker rate that you would have never qualified for being an insulin-dependent diabetic with maybe some other issues going on. So it's a strategy that you could have with a client. And now what did you do? Okay, they're going to have a term policy that expires in 20 years. They would have paid into a whole life policy 18 or 19 years. In 3 or 4 more years, that permanent policy could be paid up. And now they have a permanent death benefit of $25,000 or $50,000 that they'll have forever. And it has renewals in it. So you'll continue to get paid as long as they keep it. It's a strategy, and it's something a lot of people don't think about. They want the easy sale. And you get someone who fits in this category. Oh, and by the way, critical and chronic illness. Okay. So you factor all of that and the member benefits in. And this is a deal that you will not find any other carrier anywhere else. And you should then be able to write everybody else up in that family. So we could do a little more on this, but it's something you guys really, really want to understand how to do.
Bruce, I have a question on the conversion.
Yeah, go ahead, Miss.
So is it the plan right that they choose, or do they have an option between plan right and the smart?
No, it'll be the Smart UL or the Advantage Plus, because it's at the higher levels, the higher financial face amount levels. So plan right would only come into play if it's going to be less than what the minimum would be on the Smarter Advantage.
Perfect.
You know, and as Adam was saying, people will look, well, Strong Foundation is a little more expensive than some of the other carriers that you have. Well, this is one of the reasons why we're bringing back the Your Term Non-Med. When we bring back the Your Term Non-Med, you will see that it is the stripped down bare bones. So where Strong Foundation has all of these broader underwriting guidelines, the Your Term does not. So therefore, the rates are going to come down as well. And then you still have the same benefits and features that you normally do. So as we focus now into the permanent products, we take a look at the Advantage Plus, which is a participating whole life, and the Smart UL, which is a cash accumulation universal life product. Permanent life insurance. Now, they're built on the same chassis, but they're polar opposites. They're really focused for that 30 to 60 middle to upper middle that want the permanent life insurance. These are also the products that you're going to convert the term into. Now, what is the difference? Well, it comes down fundamentally to what the client would want. The way I look at it is this: if your client really wants all the guarantees, guaranteed death benefit, guaranteed level premiums, guaranteed cash values, then the Advantage Plus participating whole life is going to be the way they go. If they're a little bit more flamboyant, they want flexible payments that a universal life would offer them with the opportunity for cash value. Well, the Smart UL is going to be the way. Now, the Smart UL is not an index universal life product. It is built on the Foresters investment portfolio. But one of the nice things that we have right now, we have a current rate of 4.55% with a guarantee of 2%. If you're out there selling ULs or index ULs, what is your guaranteed interest rate? It's going to be 0 or less to 0. You can't predict the future. Got it. However, if they say, well, it's more than 0, here's what it is. Well, then take a look at what their fees are, because a lot of time their fees will be more what their minimum guaranteed interest rate is. Where at Foresters, whenever anybody will say, well, 0 is your hero, at least you didn't lose any money, I come back with them and will say, well, 4 is more and 2 is due, because we have a current rate of 4.55 and a guarantee of 2%. Now, both of these products can be written non-med or fully underwritten. Both of these products can also be done with a paper or e-app, virtual, face-to-face, whichever you want. So it's got opportunities for you when you do it, whether it's a paper or the e-app, whether it's face-to-face or virtual, you send it into Foresters. We'll run an MIB, a prescription check, do an ID verification, and then we will render a decision, accept or decline on this product to a table 4 underwriting. Now, remember that on the Strong Foundation non-med, and when we have it, the Your Term non-med, if your client has those term products and they want to convert, they're going to be able to convert to these type of products. So even if they were a table 5, 6 and got the simplified issue non-med, we would still allow them to convert to the standard non-med product. So you have opportunities. Now, we know that the primary purpose of life insurance really was to pay a benefit when you lose a loved one. However, things have changed. Thinking back to when we were 8 years old, if we knew somebody had a heart attack or a stroke, that meant we were going to a funeral a week later. Well, that's not normally the case today. People are living longer. People are living after they've had these life-changing health consequences. That is why there is the need for the accelerated benefit rider, living benefits, the chronic, the critical, the terminal illness. Now, it is available on the Smart UL, the Advantage Plus, the Your Term, the Strong Foundation. We also have the availability of the terminal illness portion of this benefit on the Strong Foundation Substandard, the Plan Right, and the Bright Future product. It's a great add-on. It's a complementary benefit that in the event your client hits or triggers one of these benefits or illnesses, that they can use a portion of their life insurance for whatever they so fit. Now at Foresters, we have other benefits as well. We have the charity benefit provision. I love highlighting this one because it's one thing that nobody else has. So how about this? On your Strong Foundation, Your Term, Smart UL, Advantage Plus, and the Bright Future product, your client, whoever is the insured, can put down who they would want an additional 1% of their face amount to be paid to a charity of their choice. Again, an additional 1% of their face amount is going to be paid to a charity of their choice in their name upon their passing. As we get older, people love to donate. People love to give back. And this is a great opportunity for them to do just that. Now, I will say this. They don't have to name the charity when you're filling out the application. I recommend that they do, because they need to have a charity named before they pass away. If they put a name and they want to change it, can they? Yes. If they put a charity and they want to add another charity, yes. So there is benefits to this. And again, that's the key. In sales, you want to be the difference maker. You want to have something that nobody else has, and the charity benefit provision is just one of those things. Also, about a month ago, we announced that we are now allowing for ITIN business. Now, this is foreign nationals with an individual tax ID number. Now, it'll be available on the Smart UL, the Advantage Plus, the Strong Foundation, all the non-med products, ages 18 to 65, up to $500,000 per person in this program. Now, there are a number of requirements, a number of guidelines. Here are a few of them. There is no need to have a Social Security number, but they have to have an ITIN number, and they must be paying U.S. taxes. They can be working or retired, but they have had to have lived in the United States for the last 5 consecutive years. They have to have a U.S. physician. They have to have a U.S. bank account. They have to meet citizenship guidelines, being from a certain country that that is approved by by our reinsurers that have allowed for this product. But again, there's opportunity, and they have to have either a federal or a U.S. state identifying card. So they have to have ID from either the federal government or a U.S. state. But again, it's an opportunity that you have from Foresters as a result of us knowing the demographics of what's going in. So enough about our traditional products. Let's talk about the senior life, final expense, burial. You will very rarely hear me talk about final expense or burial. I typically will call it senior life, end of life planning, final planning, because I really feel that these are the markets that we should be talking about. The Plan Right product, it allows for 3 plans built into the one product. Preferred, standard, basic. Preferred, 100% death benefit as of day one. It's the lowest rates for your most healthy clients. Standard, 100% death benefit as of day one for somebody living with hepatitis B or C, typically qualify for standard. Somebody who has Parkinson's but can still do the activities of daily living, typically qualify for standard. Somebody who has who had a heart attack or a stroke over a year ago, typically qualify for the standard plan. And then the basic plan. And no, the basic plan is not a guaranteed issue. However, it is very liberal. If the person dies within the first 2 years, they'll receive return of premium plus 10% accrued daily and compounded. Now, also, if they have the basic plan and the state has approved the accidental death provision and they die within the first 2 years where we would have instilled the return of premium plus 10%, but it was because of an accidental death, we'll go ahead and we'll top it up. So we'll give them 100% of their face amount. Also, you can see that there's a number of additional riders on this product. And again, some are complimentary, some are add-on. Issue ages, 50 is the minimum, 50. 85 is the maximum on the preferred and standard, 80 on the basic. Now, this is age last birthday. So unlike the traditional products where it is age nearest birthday, on this, it is actually their age that will determine it. Now, depending, it's $5,000 as a minimum face across the board. Depending on their age and their plan will determine their maximum. So if they're between 50 to 80 on the preferred, they can have up to 35,000, 50 to 80 on the basic, 15,000. The application is broken down. I look at it being broken down into 3 sections, real nice and easy. This also is going to sort of dictate where your client's going to qualify. So take a look at the first 6 questions. These are going to be the pre-qualifying questions. If the client answers yes to any of the first 6 questions, that's going to be the knockout. Go ahead, shred the application, move on to a guaranteed issue product. But typically they will get through and they will answer no to those questions. If they answer yes to a question 7 to 12, they may be eligible for the basic plan. If they answer yes, if they answer no to the questions 1 to 12, but yes in a question 13 to 15, they may be eligible for the standard plan. And if they answer no to all the questions, they may be eligible for the preferred plan. That's pretty basic. At this point, typically, if you're sitting face to face, and when we say face to face, we mean belly to belly, you can reach out and touch that person. You're going to turn the application over, you're going to have them sign it, and you're going to do a telephone interview. Telephone interview takes roughly 7 to 9 minutes. It's really bundled, so therefore you can ease your client through it. As you can see, they have very liberal operating hours in regards to the optical telephone interview. And again, when we're doing the paper application for the telephone interview, it has to be done face to face. If you're doing the and you can also do the Aptical Live app. If you want to do the virtual Aptical Live app, I would tell you, take the training before you do it so you know exactly what you have to do, because there is a portion where you're going to send an email to the client. You're not, but the system will. So you have to put their email in. Then you will have to still do a 3-way call with the telephone interviewer. They're going to ask about the questions if you have any yes answers. So again, in regards to the final expense burial senior life product at Foresters, I really believe that PlanRight is best done on a face-to-face basis. We are looking at amending it so that we can change up our Aptical Live app, make it more of a seamless e-app process. And when we do, it's going to make it a lot easier. Adam, you got a comment?
Well, if you were going to say that, that's one of the things we hope is coming down the pike, where you can do an actual traditional electronic app, but that's on the horizon. I think Shonda had a question about Hep C.
Nikki,
No
yeah.
longer detected due to medication, but they would qualify for Plan Right standard.
Correct. So again, here's what I've been told by our medical doctors is that even though people say, well, I'm cured, I no longer have hepatitis B or C, they still would have hepatitis in their system, just on such a low degree. So it would still classify. So therefore, they're still going to, if they're controlling it, they're still going to be able to qualify for the standard plan. So now, one of the products that I talk about right after we talk about Plan Right is Bright Future. Why? Bright Future is just a juvenile whole life. It's geared for children to have really a head start on life insurance. Focused for parents or grandparents to buy on their children or grandchildren, but who am I kidding? It's about the grandparents buying it on their grandchildren, because the truth is, parents hate their kids. Parents only have children in order to have grandchildren. That's how it is. But grandparents love their grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, that's why this is such a great product to talk afterwards with that grandparent to say, hey, do you want to give your grandchild something, maybe for their birthday or for Christmas? Give them a head start in life. You can go from 5,000 up to 75,000. You can either do a pay to 100 or a 10-year pay. So important. That 10-year pay is what most grandparents are going to choose, because once they've paid it out over 10 years, it's paid up. Now, I will make this mark, is that on the 10-year pay, you are going to receive a letter that says that it has MEC'd. Now, MEC is not always bad. Modified endowment contract. It's not always bad. In this scenario, it's not bad. Why? Well, because the child is so young and you're pushing so much premium into pay for this product in such a short time, it will MEC the product because it does not follow the IRS Rule 7702. Now, here's the key, is that even though we say it MECs, why is it not a bad thing? Because on a product like this, you're not buying it for the cash value. You're buying it for the death benefit. And so therefore, don't be thinking that it's going to build up some great cash value. If you're really wanting to build up cash value in a product like this, you're going to move over to the Advantage Plus 2 or the Smart UL. This is really geared towards a death benefit type product. So therefore, it doesn't matter if it MECs, because you never touch the cash value. And so therefore, there's never an issue. The owner is the payer and the beneficiary. So that's always important to know. Also, the insured, who's going to be that child, will not become a member until they hit age 18. Also, to make it easy for grandparents, we've built the application so that if they want, they could do 6 of their grandkids on one application. So it's real nice and easy. Now, again, the owner is going to be the payer and the beneficiary. When the child hits 18 and they become a member, if the owner can change the beneficiary over to them or whatever they would like to do. Last product we're going to talk about is the Prepared. You cannot predict when an accident will happen, but you can be prepared. Yes, you do need a health license in order to sell this product. But simplified issue, accidental death term life. It is what it says it is. Issue ages 18 to 70. The term expires at age 80. You can write it from 50,000 to 500,000. It's a simplified issue because there's typically only 3, in some states 4 questions. It's inexpensive because it is only paid out on an accidental death. And in some states, there's a return of premium on this product. So again, there's benefits that you have and the opportunity to take care of a lot more clients, because this is really geared for those clients that may not be under traditional life insurance definitions, qualify for any of the other products, or it may be somebody that's susceptible to an accidental death because of their hobbies, because of their lifestyle, because of their occupation. And because it's so inexpensive, that it is an ideal product for that market, whether you can add it as an add-on or as the only insurance that they have. As I wrap up, at Foresters, we want to give you technology at your fingertips, foresters.com. We also have the quick quote calculator. Go on and make sure that there's opportunities for you. You can do quotes, whether on the quick quote calculator or on our illustration software on our website. We have a full array of products. In fact, I tell people, go to the App Store, put up Foresters Biz and download the mobile app. Download the Foresters Quick Quote to your phone so that you have it there. And I know that they were talking about, when you're doing the quote, getting that information and what can I send the client? Well, if you're doing something for Plan Right and you can press give the quote, it'll email you a nice little package that shows you what the quote will be, or for the Smart UL, or for the Advantage Plus, the Strong Foundation product, Bright Future, Advantage Plus. So it gives you something nice that you have at your disposal that you can share with your client. At Foresters, as Adam said, we're old school. We believe in giving you the support that you deserve because we are partners in this. My mantra is this: if you're not making money, I'm not making money. If you're not happy, I'm not happy. We all got to be happy, especially on a Monday morning. Because here's the key, is that we've got to take care of our clients.
Yeah.
That's just what we're doing. We're taking care of clients. We're taking care of families. We're doing things that is very noble, because in people's darkest moments, that's when they need us. When I talked about our sales support desk, 866-466-7166, extension 1, they are there to service you, to help you, whether you need a quote or information or supplies. They are there to assist you. We have an advanced underwriting program. There are guidelines to this program, but if you want to have a higher face amount, the client may not want to go through full underwriting, mean no blood, no urine, no paramed. Well, we do have an advanced underwriting program if they qualify. As we mentioned, marijuana. For us and marijuana, if they use marijuana, it is a non-tobacco product. That's the first thing. Secondly, the only question we ask about marijuana will be on the term UL and par whole life application. And it says, do you use, and it names a lot of drugs, more than one time per week? Time equals days. If they check yes, that does not mean they're going to be declined. It means they have to fill out the substance use and drug questionnaire. On that, it gets specific as to the drugs. It will say, how many times per week do you use cannabis, marijuana? Our chief underwriter will allow that person to put up to 6 times and still take a look at them for standard non-med. The reason being is that he's just not looking for the daily user. Now, we know that we have clients that take a hit in the morning and at night just to take the edge off, and they're not like Willie Nelson or Martha Stewart or Snoop Dogg, or Mike Tyson just going at it all the time. But the key is that we have to have guidelines, and that's just one of the guidelines that we have. But I will say we, amongst life insurance carriers, we are one of the most liberal in regards to the use of marijuana. And even though there's, I believe, 11 states that allow for both recreational and medicinal, and 44 that allow for medicinal, we don't care what state they're in. We don't judge on that. So we just have that. And of course, I already talked about the I-10 and foreign and national opportunity and the guidelines with that. So at this point, Adam and Misty, I want to just welcome you guys back to Foresters. And again, I'm looking forward to this. We have a great opportunity. As you can see, we have a full portfolio of products for you guys for your team to have. And, you know, it's a great relationship that we have had, and we're going to continue. And I just look forward to serving, you know, your folks. And if anybody needs us, as you know, we're in this together, and, you know, that's how we treat our clients, and that's how we treat each other. So I'll open it up to any questions.
I know Nikki asked the question. So Nikki, the Bright Futures is not a rider. It's an actual standalone whole life policy written on the young children. So, you know, if God forbid, that child dies, it's a death benefit paid out like any other life insurance policy.
Sorry, I was thinking the grandchild rider on the plan, right?
We don't have a grandchild.
I'm sorry, child.
Grandchild, just a child.
Child rider.
Yeah, we don't have a grandchild rider on that. We don't have a child rider on our final expense either, because we believe that most people at that age. Now, here's one of the things I will mention, because it does come in, is that we are now seeing more and more grandparents become the legal guardian of their grandchildren because their children cannot. Nikki, I love how you're nodding with me, because you understand these situations. And, you know, it's heartbreaking. But here's the key. Remember in those, because at Foresters, we define child as anybody legally born, legally adopted, or under legal guardianship. So if they become the legal guardian for their grandkids, they would be eligible for the orphan benefit and the orphan scholarship. So that's always good to be mindful of that, because those are benefits that nobody else would give them.
Okay, I have a question about that. I have a client that I'm Shonda. I have a client right now that the mother was the legal guardian of her two children, because she's a truck driver and gone all the time. Well, grandma died, and so she was made to be the owners of the policy, the owner and payer of the policy. But when we checked on them for the orphan benefit, they said because she did not legally adopt them, that did not qualify.
Yeah, Shonda, that's unfortunate. But again, the definition is legally born, legally adopted, or under legal guardianship. Now, some people will say, well, I have guardianship of my grandkids. Well, unless it's signed by the court, we have no merit to it.
She had legal guardianship of her children. I mean, of the grand.
Yeah, correct. So did the grandmother have legal guardianship over the grandchildren?
Yes.
Well, then there should not have been an issue on that. Now, who died in this situation?
The grandmother who had the legal guardianship.
The grandmother died who had the legal guard. Now, did she have a Foresters? Was she insured with Foresters, or was she just a payer and beneficiary?
She was the payor and the beneficiary.
Yeah, so it would only account if she was insured. She would have to have her coverage. So being an owner or a payer does not make you a member, nor does it make you a member of Foresters. So that's why that would have happened.
Okay. So, makes sense.
Yeah.
I'll throw one other thing out there real quick. So, on the Smart UL, there should, in my opinion, there should only be one payment option, and that's the Smart payment, because that product will disappear. It will collapse if you don't put that right payment number. And you're going to deal with a big problem in the future where that policy will run out of money. So correct me if I'm wrong. It's called the Smart
Solve.
The Smart Solve. When you're looking, what will the premium for the client be? Smart Solve.
Yeah, exactly. And that's right. Really why the key is, Adam, is that to me, that's the only number that you should be looking at. I know legally we have to put the target commissionable and what the minimum is, but the smart solve is what they should be paying in order to make sure that it goes out to hit age 100, and then it endows at age 121. So just going through some of, yeah, so once you so in the states of Connecticut, New Mexico, and Massachusetts, you're going to need a fraternal license. Our contracting department will help you with that. And if you're having to pay for it, then once you make your first sale, they're going to reimburse you for it. So you know, that is the opportunity. Trying to think of anything else that we missed, Adam. I know that there's a great opportunity for you. If you go onto our website, not only can you get information and supplies, you can also get further training, and also call into our sales support desk. They're always going to be there for you. You know, we're in it together. Yeah, Keith, when you talk about guaranteed insurability, the one good thing about the Bright Future is that it'll allow the child later on in life, 24, 27, 30, 33, 37, 40, birth of a child, or when they get married, to add some additional coverage to whatever they already had. It could be a maximum of 50,000 up to or whatever their face amount
5
is.
times up to 50,000.
Yeah. So Steve, Georgia is not a fraternal state. Georgia, I believe, may be a strict state, which means that you have to get appointed in that state before you're able to write business. And quite truthfully, the way that we would handle it, I believe you're better off getting appointed before you write business. As Adam mentioned, I'm sorry for the delays that we're having right now, but we just signed on with Allstate so that they have our products in their portfolio and just had to bring in 40,000 new agents. So that's quite a task for our people, but you know, we have that opportunity. Again, also, if you're doing anything in the infinite banking space, you know, the banking on yourself, retirement planning, college funding, the Advantage Plus 2 is an ideal product for that. You can give myself or Jim Tom a call, or, you know, Adam and Misty, they'll help you as well in regards to really designing a situation for your client. But again, you know, it seems the thing that I'm always blown away is how many sales strategies that we have and that we talk about when the root of everything is all about life insurance.
I actually do have one clarification question. I have clients that are on the is it the Strong Foundation, and there's a rider on there that's called Family Health Benefits. How does that work? Because I had somebody ask about that, and I was like, I don't know.
Like a lot of stuff.
So Nikki, that is a complimentary benefit as long as the state allows it. Okay. So the family health benefit, and I live in the state of Texas, and Texas doesn't allow it, which, you know, it doesn't matter. But here's what it is that we can give a financial payment to somebody in the event that they end up going to the hospital, being admitted to the hospital, because they had to take a ride in an ambulance, whatever that would cost, like $600, as a result of what we'll call a natural disaster or Mother Nature disaster. So if it's a tornado or a hurricane that comes in and something happens and you get taken to the hospital as a result, there's the reason for the family health benefit. It's a financial payment that Foresters would give the insured. What I'll do at the same time, Adam, I'll send you and Misty over the Foresters guide to our member benefits that you can send to everybody on this call.
Do you still have the disaster relief thing?
No, we no longer have that. And the reason being, Adam, is you know, we saw that in a matter of 5 years, it was really just hitting, you know, along the southeast corridor
Yeah.
over and over. And we had to look for another beneficial way in order to, really assist our members. So it was one thing that we said, okay, here's what we're going to do. And we came up with our Foresters Rewards and Foresters Cares programs.
You know, my guy Chuck in North Carolina, he had, when it hit many years ago, every single, and they write a lot of business.
Yep.
Bruce will tell you,
and
every
we also-
single
we
policy
also-
holder in North Carolina got a $300 check.
Yeah,
when
Adam,
that
that was
happened
one of the things is that we
a while
also
ago.
we paid some that never were affected by the hurricane, and that was the tough part.
Yep. All right. I think we're done.
Sorry.
Yes, we're not done.
Well, this is Keith here. I just wanted to, when we talk Foresters, my face gets serious. So I just wanted to put a plug in for those that want to be an expert insurance rep. This is by far the best product, best company in my experience. I won the Foresters trip for our previous company, not just the trip, #1 overall at the company. And I placed in the top 10 in 2020 at Foresters of all appointed writers at Foresters. And you're grossly underplaying the value of the ABR in that all living benefits are created equally. I studied that thing inside and out. I've probably spent about 60 or 70 hours on the phone with an underwriter. I personally interviewed Doug Parrott for the entire company. And I'm saying that the $500,000 accelerated benefit rider is by far the best critical and chronic illness rider in the industry. I can go write something cheaper that says, quote, living benefits, but it doesn't pay the same. It doesn't come in a lump sum check. You know, I happen to sell that thing over and over and over and over and over. You get what you pay for, right? So when you talk more expensive, it's not more expensive because I can throw out one statistic that'll beat everything. What's more likely to happen to me? Die or get cancer? 1 in 2 males in his lifetime is going to get cancer, 1 in 3 females. So death is the end. Cancer is actually the evolution of human society. And Foresters pays out up to 95% of $500,000 as an accelerated benefit rider and a lump sum check as an advancement on the death benefit for that benefit rider, whereas I can name 50 other companies who charge $20 a month less, $30 a month less. And when I fall into that trap, and I'm now 42, and I've got breast cancer, and I need money, and you name the company ain't paying it out, and Foresters is. So when you talk Foresters, I get super serious because I'll disagree with one thing that you guys said, just because I have the experience. You can write a smart UL that will give you as much coverage and will exterminate better than a strong foundation. So if I'm old enough and I can only qualify for a 10 or 20-year term on a strong foundation, I can get a better product out of this smart UL that ends in 10 years or 20 years. But that's when you have to know how to do the illustration. And for anybody who wants to know, I used to teach the illustration to the entire other company. So I'm here to help, but there's no better company out there. And the last thing I'll say to you is my cousin died. I was on the Foresters trip, thanks to Mark Rush. And Foresters flew me home 3 legs, first class, to make it to my cousin's funeral in time. I will never, ever forget that. Ever.
No, Keith, that's so important. And, you know, that really speaks volumes about who we are and what we are. And, you know, as I said, we're all in this together. I will tell you this is, as you learn more about myself, is that I sort of will downplay things, and I will underplay it up versus and over deliver. And the reason being is that you're absolutely right, is that when it comes to this, it's matters of life. And we have to be there for that. When we talk about the living benefits, you know, to me, it's one of those things that you can go in and you can ask anybody under the age of 50 that, do you believe you're going to have a heart attack or stroke, be diagnosed with a terminal illness, or have, you know, cancer before you pass away? And the chances are, yes, it's going to happen. And how are you going to be prepared? Because most people don't. We're not prepared. And so it is, you know, so crucial. And I agree with you on the use of the strong foundation, making the smart UL, as you say, a permanent term type product. The key is that it's really not built for that, so that's why we don't talk about it in that manner. But I know exactly where you're playing. So and you know, that's you know, a benefit of what we have. And Keith, like you said, I just get in, I tell people, go play with the illustration software, see what it'll do for you, because you're going to be surprised about what the outcome will be. So you know, I am so sorry that you lost that family member, but I will say, you know, Mark is a great leader and a good friend of mine as well. And you know, that's how we treat people. You know, we're all in this together. This is you know, fraternal is about family, and that's where we are. So
Is Matt still the president?
Matt is actually the CEO now. So
Oh, okay.
he just got promoted. He was the president of the U.S. division. Now he's the there you go. Yeah. Oh yeah, Kelly Steinmetz. Great. Yeah. Yeah, we have, you know, Keith, we have a lot of fun. And that's, you know, as Adam says, he sort of downplayed it as well about the times we've had, you know, been around the world and things we've done and seen. And, you know, it's a partnership, but it's personal and it's professional, and we're in this together. And anything I can do for you guys, please do not hesitate to reach out to me.
Hey, Mark, still doing the playground builds, Bruce?
We, you know, obviously because of the pandemic, we had to halt them. We are slowly bringing them back. We did one last year. I think we're going to do 2 or 3 this year. None of the locations. One is going to be in South California. But other than that, we're slowly bringing our member benefits in regards to the initiatives of volunteership back.
Good. The other thing that I think maybe the last thing, unless someone does have an important question, that, you know, you're not doing the conventions anymore, but it's an opportunity for all of you to earn a substantial amount of income. So you're getting paid, let's call it a bonus based upon production that far exceeds what that trip would have otherwise had covered. I know, Misty, I'm sure we can get it posted on, if you probably do already. She has everything posted for you guys, but that's a substantial bonus. It's 100% controlled in your individual production, you know, power. So
one of the things you guys keep in mind is these guys also, they're one of the few carriers that has a simplified issue, but also still has a human being involved. Most of these other ones that have simplified issue, they're totally based on like a coded algorithm. So if you have like a situation where it's like, I saw Keith had posted Ozempic, you know, and blah, blah, blah early on, you know, we all know there are so many people on Ozempic for weight loss rather than diabetes. Foresters has a spot where you can actually put something like that on a note. You can talk to a human underwriter. Another carrier, we ran into an issue. Jason was trying to call the underwriter and he got a message that says, due to call volume, we're not taking any calls. He's like, how am I supposed to explain to this underwriter what is going on if they're not taking any calls? Foresters, you have a live human being. Sometimes they'll ask for additional information and we get frustrated, but be gracious that you have that opportunity rather than just a hard decline. They're one of, I've said it a million times, love-hate relationship. We all wanted it approved like today or yesterday, but they have hands down the best benefits. And even I'll tell my clients that when I'm running an app with them, hey, they may come back and want some additional information, but this is hands down the best benefits you're going to get. And that Smart UL, good Lord, I sold the heck out of that to grandparents, even parents. I've maybe only sold maybe 2 or 3 children's whole life policies. All of mine I put in that Smart UL. How easy is it to sell a parent that says, hey, Nikki, God forbid if something happens to one of your grandkids, your kids, you're probably going to raise those grandkids, right? Wouldn't it be nice to know your grandkids are going to be set up and have that policy, but you're also going to get $900 a month for those 3 grandkids per grandchild to help raise them, so that financial burden isn't on you? How easy is it for me to sell Nikki that policy at $20, $30 a month for her kids, knowing that when they grow up and are adults, they have that plan built in to also protect Nikki if she has to raise those kids, those grandkids. And to say, hey, scholarship plan. My husband has a Smart UL plan. I think we joke all the time, between the free tickets we get to events, it pays for itself each year. Our hockey tickets are $90 a piece for nosebleed seats. I think usually at least twice a year we get emails from Foresters saying, do you want 4 free tickets? Well, yes, we do. It pays for itself, guys. Easy plan. But
Hey, I know this is an anomaly. Okay. So guys, I hate always taking an exception to the rule and making it the norm. But Keith, that 2020, when you qualified, what would you have made, if you don't mind, in a bonus if you had this in place from the production you wrote? We got 18% above 30. What is it?
40 or 50 grand.
Okay.
Instead, I got a $5,000 check because they canceled the friggin' cruise.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's the one,
Thanks a lot.
That's
The
right.
cruise line wasn't their fault. Didn't the cruise line go out of business or something because of COVID?
Yeah, and then I got a charge back and they took the money, but then Mark stepped in. So
That's just an example.
That's a mess.
They didn't
That's
take the
serious
bonus.
money.
Oh no, you wouldn't have got the bonus. Yeah.
I got a charge back, and so they took the cruise money, and I called them up. I'm like, this is bullshit. I was going to take my family. So they replaced the money, and I earned it back. It all worked out. It was funny.
Good.
Any other
Awesome.
questions for Bruce, guys? And Bruce, we so appreciate you taking the time out today to do this.
Absolutely, team.
I literally learned something new every time I talk to you. I learned more new stuff again today. I did not know that your plans were convertible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And remember, after 2 years, the full commission, brand new commission. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, people, thank you. Thank you, guys. Love the relationship.
Thanks, Bruce.
For you, the team is here. All right. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
All right. Just want to go over a couple other updates with you guys. Bear with me. Let's get rid of the screen share here real quick. There we go. All right. So just want to go over a couple other updates. Adam is working on contracting, so you're going to see emails coming in. Stay on top of those, because every time they have to resend them, it bogs down contracting. So stay on top of those. Watch for your emails. Save all of your passwords, your usernames, stuff like that. Start a spreadsheet if you don't have those. If you don't understand your comps, all of those are on the training portal. So you can find them on there. We're adding the new ones as they come in. So some of them are not on there. We'll get them added as they come in. Adam, anything you want to go over? Nope, you're muted.
Thanks, Joanne. So if you've been appointed with Great Western, I think I shared it last week. They are getting out of the final expense and guarantee issue market. So they are accepting new business up until June 30th. And I think sometime in August is when everything's going to end. So for that reason, we're not going to be processing any Great Western contracts. Technically, could you? And they said, yeah, technically, but I can promise you it's going to be a waste of time, because by the time they got through them, they're not going to accept new business. I think everyone, and there may be a few exceptions, should have gotten all the Gerber initial contract requests. Jason and Misty's numbers already came in. So I had my team early this morning, starting with the managers and getting them all out. There may be one additional reach out to you via Sure LC that we need your signature again. They're fairly quick. You know, they're not that fast, but Gerber's going to be an excellent alternative. Because, you know, Gerber historically never advanced. It was always as earned, and we have a deal with them where they advance. AIG, please keep this in mind, guys. There are two divisions with AIG, even though technically they're actually merging them all on one platform. You got the guarantee issue whole life, okay? And then the simplified issue whole life. The guarantee issue whole life is really going to be the best alternative to a guarantee issue product from Great Western. 99% of the time, they're going to come up cheaper. They do advancing. They have a chronic illness rider for a quarter of the face amount. So there's a lot of advantages to do it. The quoting and application is probably the simplest in the industry. Very, very fast. The AIG, well, Corebridge Financial purchased all insurance divisions from AIG. So you see Corebridge. The Corebridge Select a Term is a completely different chassis, okay? That's going to be, I have running through Mark's deal. All right, so you're going to get two different writing numbers. They're going to be done completely different. You're going to get different contracting requests for them. Internally, we're just keeping them separate. But I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. So that's going to really give you two incredible alternatives from the guarantee issue product with Great Western. So with Mark's deal, Misty, it's okay to kind of mention the carriers and what we're going to be doing. We're moving over. Okay. So Levinson, any business that's in-house is not affected. Any application you've submitted is going processed, going through that channel. It's all handled through them. It has zero negative bearing on you, your clients, or anything that you've done. Those contracts are all being moved over through Mark's chassis, okay? And what Mark shared with you is a snapshot of what Misty is going to have. So it's going to be her white labeled platform. So it won't say Mk Williamson. They're already working on it. They're building it. They're getting it done. And all of those tools and resources, from quick quotes, underwriting guidelines, etc., application, is all going to be funneled through Misty's portal that's being developed. And that's where you could do from A to Z. The carriers, again, because I know there was some confusion earlier. Banner, the AIG Select a Term, Protective, Lincoln, Nationwide, Principal, Symetra, Prudential, Securian. All of those fit into the same type of business channel, okay? In our world, on independent distribution, we treat that as traditional products, right? While they allow quick tickets, accelerated underwriting for a few of them, just keep in mind, all that means is if they go bing, 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 MIB, script check, Milliman background report, motor vehicle, and everything's coming up nice and clean, decent height and weight, those policies should get pushed through really fast, okay? That is not simplified issue, believe it or not. Simplified issue means they are not looking to do an exam. They don't want to do medical records. They always reserve the right to do it, but they don't want to do it. So on the insurance toolkit, if the carriers are on that platform, Think of them as your simplified issue. The Gerber's on that platform, the AIG guarantee issue. So just look at those as two different business models that you're operating from, okay? Not every client fits into the exact same thing. Mark, if I was meeting with you and I was looking to insure you, a young, healthy man, I'm thinking the Banner, AIG Core Bridge. I don't even have to think otherwise. Other than Keith's point, I love living benefits. I may want to look differently and sell the living benefits, not a death benefit, right? The Banners, Core Bridge, all of those are death benefits. It only pays out if they die. The beneficiary dies. That's it. The living benefits is life insurance you don't have to die to use. But I look at those as two completely different chassis, two completely different business models. All right. So right now, Mark's team is wigging out a little bit because he made the mistake of telling Misty, and I remember Polly was on that call, but just send me in the business. We'll figure it out. You may not be the hierarchy on it, and we'll have to pay you separately. You may not even been appointed yet. We haven't even sent your contract. I want agents who get real opportunities for clients and submit business. We'll work through the logistics, okay? Why? You guys are a rare breed. A lot of agencies where I'm telling you 8 out of 10 of the producers don't do crap. This is almost like a reversed model. A very high percentage of Misty's team writes business. That is not common. And it's a testament to her and Jason. I'm just telling you. And Holly and Mark and the managers, what they're doing, and Nikki, Shonda. I'm just telling you. You can believe me or not, but I can promise you it doesn't. So he's like, holy shit, excuse my language. They really are. Like, I've gotten, I don't know how many apps you guys have already sent into them. So let's wig it out.
Jumping at the bit to get this carrier.
Listen, Colette sent me an email. I guess Mark didn't speak to her early. I'm an early bird. Early this morning, I was like, all right, wait until we chat with Mark. She's like, who is this person? Wait, who is this person? Wait, Nikki? Is Nikki Kim Nixon? Is she on your team? And on, and Courtney, and on and on and on. And I'm just telling you right now, please disregard administrative, disregard procedure. We're flying at the hip. If you need to submit the business, you can submit it through Mark's portal. We're going to work it out. A lot of contracting's coming through. These other carriers take a lot longer. And, you know, it's a couple of things to keep in mind. Protective. I don't know how Livingston, I don't think they do, because they're not advanced, or is it Symetra? That's not advanced, right?
Doesn't advance, yeah.
Okay. These are things where you guys just say, oh, Symetra, well, let me submit the app. Were you aware that they only put you on as earned? That's why I really appreciate your patience. But we're very close, right? We're right there. You know, the managers have to be appointed before downline. So if you guys have any questions on that, let me know. But you know, a lot of things are coming really, really quick. All right.
Did you say we're gonna get Prudential over here? Is that one of the ones I heard you say earlier too?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yep.
They're awesome for our like guys who don't smoke, but they do everything else with tobacco. Their prices are so much better. So that makes me really
Lincoln
happy.
is a good player with that, Courtney, by the way. Lincoln, they're very, very receptive. You know, listen, think about what Bruce said earlier. If I go to the insurance toolkit and I put information in and it's showing me the carriers that are there, okay? And I'm putting an insulin dependent diabetic or what have you. If they don't show up in the insurance toolkit, like you're really not getting much of an option, that should be a very clear indication that you probably don't have a chance with AIG, Core Bridge, and Banner, and Protective. Why? Because if these simplified issue carriers who charge more money, but they're a lot more liberal in underwriting, they won't even show up as an option. You're going to go fully underwritten and probably won't get approved. You may get rated. Now, there are exceptions to the rule, right? But those are ways where you guys are going to learn, this is my potential client, this is the direction I'm going. This is my potential client, this is the direction that I'm going. Right now it's chaotic, but it will work itself out.
Adam,
Okay.
Missy, can I just share something? Just kind of what I experienced this weekend. It might be helpful, it might not be.
Yeah.
You know, because I wrote 4 apps over the weekend. And so
I need your
virtual high five.
yeah.
well,
You
sort
know,
of. So anyway, what I did for those that are, you know, because we have so many different systems and we're trying to figure out, you know, what's the best for your client, things like that, is I started with the insurance toolkits. And if you look at the very top, it'll say some carriers don't put their underwriting into the insurance kits. But then if you go, then what I did is I went to Levinson's, I registered for theirs just to see their quoting and see how they're quoting it. Some that didn't come up in insurance toolkit came up in Levinson, but I didn't go through Levinson. I went back to MK site, the Williamson site. And then if it kind of showed up in all 3, or maybe in 2 and 1, it kind of gave me an idea. But look, because when it tells you why it's not coming up, it'll tell you either the reason why they're not coming up due to their health or their medication, or at the very top, it may say some carriers were eliminated based on they don't use that system. So the next.
What time is it in Montana?
Yeah, just to kind of go through that process is pull the underwriting guide or go to and find the application. I asked Adam, I was like, Adam, can you send me the application? Right. And answer. And if those questions will help kind of guide you. But it really wasn't as difficult as I thought. I just kind of was like very methodical in my process of start with one, go to the next, and then don't submit through Levinson, just go to the MK Williamson site. And then if it comes up there as an option, then submit it through there.
Yeah, that's
Well, what we uncovered was that Evaluate that Levinson uses. Okay, that is a subscription-based model. That means if the carrier doesn't subscribe to it, none of the information's accurate. Okay, so that can be incredibly misleading. All right. The other thing to remember is the insurance toolkit is the only one that lets you put prescriptions in it.
Which makes
so
a huge difference, guys. Huge.
It's a massive difference. You understand, like Keith was talking Ozempic, right? You realize that one medication could knock out an otherwise approved, you know, standard plus standard client, could just knock them right out. So that's why, you know, whether it was a Levinson or a Mk Williamson, understanding the medications are going to be really, really important. And insurance toolkit lets you put not just the medications, but health conditions. Like you can put hospitalization and it will give you drop down box, emergency room drop down box, and on and on and on. Is it 100% accurate? It can't be, right? There's just so many variables. But if I'm putting some things in the insurance toolkit and for whatever reason, nothing pops up. Remember, I'm talking first day coverage, right? Nothing pops up. I can almost guarantee you, whether it was through Mark or Levinson, you ain't getting Banner, AIG, Protective. It's not going to happen because these carriers are much more simplified in underwriting than what we're doing through Mark. But again, guys, you know, I take a little bit of a different approach to Keith, but sometimes he channels what I'm thinking and feeling, how direct he is. Misty has spent so much time putting so much of this information at your fingertips on her site. I'm just telling you, you know how I would beat any one of you in any field any one of you were on is I would outwork you. Now, that doesn't mean I will beat you, but I would go on that site and I would know it inside and out. And I would create a competitive advantage for myself. That's what I've tried to do in success. I'm not always the sharpest tool in the shed, you know, but I'll tell you what, I'll outwork you. And it won't be because of lack of knowledge. If I'm going to get my handful of core carriers, you bet your butt. You could ask my wife. Okay. We didn't have all the technology. I had Post-it notes all over my little office in the house. Learning, going back. I would do 30 illustrations with a carrier before I ever presented it to a client. I'd be damned if I'm going to speak to a client and not know how to do the illustration inside and out, right? I would encourage you guys, leverage the resources that she has. You see what she's doing? Every meeting, she's taking notes, she's typing. Did you add anything to your site while we were doing these last two trainings?
Well, I'm gonna be adding like 10 different slides, yes.
She's writing 1,000 things down, right? Immediately making it available to you guys. I really want to encourage you to do that.
When I was new, I didn't have these resources. I didn't have anywhere, I was told,
Yeah.
go find it. So I had to go to the carrier. I had to go to YouTube. I was all over the place trying to learn this stuff, but I got really good, obviously, at what I was doing because I had to force myself to learn this training. So I know a lot of you, you came here because you want to be $30, $40, $50,000 a month producers. The only way you're going to do that is learn, take the time for yourself and really dive into that material. I was on calls and then in the evenings, because I worked a day job for most of you who didn't know, I was part-time my first year. For the first 9 months, I was part-time. I worked a full-time job. And then every day when I would get off, I would dive right into insurance. And then at night, because I wasn't able to be on all the training calls or the cheerleading calls, so I wasn't missing a ton. I was in the bathtub, literally YouTubing product knowledge. I'd be sitting there in the bathtub, like finally trying to relax and literally taking notes in the bathtub, like watching Foresters Living Benefits, watching America, like Cashback 100 and the perks of, that's how I learned to get so good at this stuff. It didn't just come naturally, but so look at it as a real short-term sacrifice for that long-term gain that's going to give you that extra power. Because when you come across confident to your client, they're never going to question anything, even if you're not confident or not sure. But if you come across confident as if you are, they're going to 100% follow your lead because they don't have a clue either. I mean, some of your clients don't know when you ask them, what are you looking for, term or whole life? They're like, what's the difference? You have the license. You're the expert they're leaning on. So just be that expert. Guide them and they'll follow you. Always go for the close. I want to commend Courtney. I know Holly's like, Courtney is not a patient person. She's like, so just bear with her, show grace. I'm like, I actually love it because, the one thing I say about Courtney is she's running so fast. I don't know how she's not falling on her face. Like, she's literally like, I need this carrier. Like yesterday, I need this carrier. I need it. Like, because she has apps lined up.
I think for me, or Misty, like right now, there's a cop shot every 21 hours in the US. My husband's a cop. So when I have cop families reaching out to me saying we need life insurance now, and I'm like, you got to wait 3 weeks. I'm like, I can't tell them that. Like, I just can't when I know, like, we had one killed here a month ago. My friend was killed last year with 3 babies, left behind a widow and 3 babies. I'm like, I can't tell somebody I have 3 weeks. I'm either sending them somewhere else or I'm getting them covered some way or another because I can't be the person who goes, sorry, I didn't get your husband covered and he just got killed. Like, it's very personal, I guess, to me at this point.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, really think about the Foresters deal. Do you know when you're able to do Foresters?
We're waiting to hear from them. I never wrote with them. So they said I have to send in my contracting and then they'll let me know.
When did you first send in your contract?
Back in the first week of February.
All right, you should be good. Remember, Foresters Mutual of Omaha is 3 months. And this is another thing that it's confusing, but please write it down or go back to this recording. Go all the way to the end to listen to this. These are the carrier's rules. They're not ours. They're not Cemetery, Levinson, Williamson. They're not. These are how the carriers operate. And there are many reasons for it. Their transfer blackout rules are as followed. If you fill out a contract and you send it into the carrier, the position is your intention was to get appointed and sell that product, to sell their products, period. The date that application goes in starts your clock. Doesn't matter if you never opened it up. It doesn't matter if you ever registered on their portal. The clock starts the minute that application, that contract goes in. With Foresters, it's 3 months. Mutual of Omaha, 3 months. Everyone else is 6 months. If you wrote business, that clock started over when that app got approved. Okay, that's how it works. If you had a downline, you had agents reporting direct to you, which you got overrides from the insurance company for those agents, theirs applied to you. If you put in a contract for a downline agent on March 1st, your clock just reset for March 1st if you're leaving, right? And so forth and so on. So the 6 month ones, they are what they are. It's how the carriers operate. Look, there's some other little things. A few of the companies basically will say, and this is their rules, if you were at an 80% commission level for whatever, American Amicable term, and Misty's giving you 90% or 85%, a lot of the carriers won't let you have your increased commission until you've been with them under Misty for 6 months. Okay. Again, these are things that a lot of uplines never share with their downline. And, you know, when it happens, it's a problem. I had to get special privileges. Again, you guys aren't aware of what it takes to get contract at Misty's level, right? They just had to fill out another marketing agreement committing to production. Now, I have a lot of say in it, but they still want that stuff. AIG made her do it. Assurity made her do it. And those things are done for a reason. And I have to go and use a silver bullet and get an exception that basically says, number one, you're a moron if you don't do this because you have no idea what's getting ready to hit you from production. But it, you know, they all kind of operate. And your former upline, for a lot of you, has been making it very difficult. I'm just going to tell you, they've done some things that have caused delays in every one of you getting some contracts, and there ain't a darn thing we can do about it. It's just these things happen. But guess what? The good news is you're out of that world, or most of you. And those are some of the things you won't be dealing with going forward. All right. So.
Yeah, I think some of these carriers have found out, like I know Shonda just dealt with, they basically tried to reappoint her back with the former place.
F&G.
Yep. Jason had some issues with that too. So, but I think some of these carriers are figuring out that, you know, we're not going to sit back on that. We're going to fight right back. And we got Shonda straightened right out. So we are going to bat for you guys over here. But
we're getting them fixed. You got to remember, I mean, they do that before I have my conversation with them, because they most of them are not going to get away with it with me. You know, I've been doing this way too long. I have too many, you know, fairly decent relationship. That doesn't mean it doesn't cause the delay, right? I just can prevent it from being permanent. Like, you know, Hope throws his weight around and tries to imply if it's either them or us and they're never going to choose. Well, he can't do that. So, got it straight. Nicole. All right, cool.
yeah, Nicole ran into that with Foresters too. Just, yeah. Some silly games some people want to play, guys, but we will always get it fixed for you. And I can say, for those of you who have been on my team and know that I fight for my agents, Adam is basically a male version of me. I physically got to hear it last week on my own with a thing where he was like, I know you work for them, but stop defending them. Y'all fucked up. Fix it. Like,
oh, I'll tell them straight up. I don't care. The carrier has to understand who they really work for. They work for our clients, period. They want to have red tape. I get it. It's part of the world of business, but don't take something that's factually the right thing to do and feel like you're going to defend your company's position to me, because that won't fly. But yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Over this week? Some of you guys do have to wait on like your core carriers. Like JD, I think you just you have to what, like the 11th, you gotta wait to get your foresters back, so it's like right around the corners. Tim, I don't know how long you have to wait in Kelly, like for some of your, like your foresters moo. If you do need help with something like that, we can do a 3-way close. Where as long as Jason is, asking the questions and we're licensed in that state, we can help you with those apps. Like I know Courtney has a guy who is diabetic who needs a strong foundation. She doesn't have them yet. So she doesn't, like, to her sense of urgency, she doesn't want to put the guy off because tomorrow isn't promised. That's part of why she's setting up life insurance. Because we're not in the business to put them off. On one hand, we always tell them, hey, let's do this today because tomorrow is not a promise to you. And last thing I want is your family to reach out to me and say, hey, what plan did he get? And we have to say none because we were still talking about it. So if you do need help, if you cannot get like your moo, your foresters, your man back, and that is the absolute best option you have, reach out. We'll help you with that. But we just have to schedule it as a 3-way call or 3-way Zoom. So it's where Jason's asking the questions. As long as we're doing it that way, there's nothing illegal about it. That you don't have that carrier, we can jump in and help you out.
Hey, Adam, I have a
Which
quick
is,
question.
it's just crazy how your former upline didn't understand. Well, they understand. It's so easy to do it legally and the right way. Why they intentionally set you guys up to literally be breaking the law, which is the truth. There's no sugarcoating it. It was. As long as the person who's licensed is the one physically talking to the client and asking them the questions, it's completely legal. Now, if they decide to pay you, you're going to get 1099 for that business because they pay the taxes on it, right? But it is legal if you do it that way. So, yeah.
Okay, so I'm tied up with most of my core carriers as well at the other company. And so if I use the Williamson site and there's a couple carriers that pop up that I don't have contracts with, can we submit business or no?
So remember, if you're falling under those guidelines of not being able to recontract, it doesn't matter who it's with. Right? So if you had protective, it doesn't, and you're within it. Now, everything you got from Experian, you've got releases for.
Okay, so I can go ahead and write, yeah.
If you got a release, an in writing release,
Which I
you
sent
are
you
allowed
guys.
to immediately recontract. It's the ones that you had at the other place that you don't have. Symmetry didn't give a release, right?
No, they don't.
But when you move some of those to Experian, is it Experian?
Yeah, those were brand new carriers that I got contracted with that I didn't have at Symmetry. And so
Right.
they
All of
sent me
those
the
you got a
release.
release on.
I
So
did.
you can
and
repoint with all of those.
So, but I don't have the links through SureLC yet. So can I submit an app though, and then would it trigger the contract? Like Emeritus and Protective and Prosperity, and I just don't want it to get delayed and lost in this process.
I'll look at your stuff. Okay. I'll look at it and we'll get it taken care of.
Anything else?
Because Adam, that's what, sorry, Misty, go ahead.
No, I was asking if anyone else said anything, so you're right on cue.
That's what Colette, she emailed me this morning, and because I don't have my banner number, but I wrote a banner app that she said she's just letting it sit there because she said if she puts it through without my writing number, then I'm gonna have to rewrite, the application.
That's what we talked with Mark about. That Mark, by the way, that's her husband.
Yeah.
Needs to have a little pillow talk and say, hey, honey, I told these guys that, not everyone, but we can submit some business. So I'll jump on with them. Okay. Again, what's going to happen is Misty and us, we're not going to be in your hierarchy for that app. They'll pay us, so I'm not worried about it.
Right.
And I think that's what she's thinking about. Well, wait a minute, how? It's going to have to go direct through them. So we gave the ability to have at least a limited number of people just go ahead and do it. Look, Courtney had what, 10 cases, I don't know, you had, half a dozen cases. At some point, it's like, if we could legally get the business processed, that we got to figure out administratively, commission wise on the back end. I certainly don't care. And I know Misty didn't hesitate. So that's kind of how we're having to deal with it.
So
But
can you kind of tell?
Jason has his banner number now. Okay. So your banner contract already went in. So I'll talk with her.
Okay. So I can write more banner this week and I'll be fine.
Yep. Right now.
Okay.
You can write banner right now.
So my other question for you is that, so anything that we write through MK Williamson, we're going to get a check from, we're not going to get a deposit directly from the carrier. It's going to come from you guys?
Until the contracting is in order.
Okay.
Like, it's one of two things. You guys either wait, right, until the contracting is scheduled, so that in your case, Misty Jason was appointed, and that's done that way, or kind of what we just said. If you want to go ahead and submit the business, those pieces of business will be handled differently. But once the contracting's aligned, no, you're getting paid direct from the carrier.
Okay.
Okay. I know that is a confusing one, specifically with right now.
Yeah, I wanted you guys to be able to go ahead and submit business and you guys get paid. I'll track down my back pay on the back end. I'm not as worried about mine as I am your pay.
Right. And we're as earned on all of it. So we don't even get advanced, so again, we're not that worried about it.
And Adam, I did ask Misty this morning, and I don't even know if you have an answer for this. And you probably are just like, I think we talked about it on Friday a little bit. So if it's going to take like 2 weeks for us to get those, carriers transitioned over here, like the Lincoln and the Prudential and stuff like that. If we write with them with Livingston, is that going to hold us up from being transferred over here?
Well, so here's the deal. I mean, if you write it I don't know what Misty's doing with them, but you can't get appointed with us if you have an active contract through Levinson, unless they give a release.
We're finding that out today. So I guess hold off until today. And then from there, we can decide what our plan of action is going to be.
Yeah. And that's out of my control. So
Lincoln's the one you need, right, Holly?
I do. And I have another girl
Who?
that needs it also. We need Lincoln. We need Lincoln, more than anything right now. So,
yeah. That's not in my control. Right. Because if it's another company, I can't do anything about that until they give, something in writing as a release. We can't do that contract with you guys.
Yeah, she's telling you she needs to get Lincoln going with MK.
Oh yeah, no, ours is already in the works. On our end, all of that stuff's already in the works. All of those carriers I mentioned, we're not waiting for anything. You know what I mean? That we're appointed and then get Jason or Misty appointed. If it's a carrier that they had through Levinson, until they get a release, that can't be done. Right. So, again, you guys got to remember, you got 90 plus agents, 12, 15, 18 carriers each. It's thousands of contracts. So I know everyone on here is, concerned with themselves and rightfully so. It's your livelihood. But from a business perspective, we're doing our best. And when then there's hierarchies involved, and that has to be first, and then that one and that one. Look, I think if everyone had their wishes, this whole transition coming over, we maybe could have been in a position to have it, a slow roll process. Your prior upline was just making your life so difficult that I get it. I have a lot of empathy for you guys. it's really unconscionable how they run their business. It's really unfortunate. Like, I've never experienced it, and I've seen some stupid shit. Excuse my language, but I'm just telling you, it's really unfortunate how they're actually going out of their way to make things a little difficult for a lot of you.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest like stress out of all of this transition. And I know that there's always, there's curves and stuff like that, but it's knowing that when we do officially resign, is being locked out, cut off at the kneecaps, and really being able to not do much. And so I think that's our thing, is now we're trying to get it contracted with carriers on this side, and we're struggling because it's not moving fast either. So it's like, I'm not quite sure what we can do or how we tell people that we're bringing in to kind of mitigate that anxiety a little bit. So
I'll tell you, and I will tell you though, it's moving very fast. I know you guys don't think that, but try getting in contract with Foresters. I got a lot of pull with some of these companies. So getting Misty or Jason approved, and then some of the managers, you obviously being one, Nikki, and Holly and so forth, but I can promise you that's moving quick. All right. Lafayette Life, they have a golden rule, 10 business days, and then you can add another week onto it for everybody. Some of these carriers just, American Amicable is quick. I'll get you guys appointed within 48 hours when you're able to do American Amicable. GTL, I'll get you appointed in 48 hours. So there are some that are really, really fast, and then some that are just slow, but it would be any organization attempting to submit a piece of business. Look, remember when Levinson started, Jason or Misty's contracts were already set up. So there wasn't the delay. We're first getting them set up. So that 2-week difference makes a lot, but we're very close, everyone. I'm telling you, we're very close to having a lot of these things done.
And if you need help in the meantime with any of those core carriers, just reach out to us. We'll help you with those. So that way you're not having business pending or business lost. Just keep in mind though, if that does come back off the books, that's still your chargeback too, though.
Right now, there's no one on this call or who was on it that has a potential client that we can't get your policy issued or submitted for you, whether it be Misty or Jason taking care of it, and look, maybe it's one of those things where, we'll do it. If we're waiting for Misty or Jason to get appointed, we'll do it, so.
Anything else? Otherwise, you guys are free to go this week. Have your goals lined up. We're officially in June. Like I know, like I posted that, and the only person I saw who posted their goal was Nikki. I know she's after 25,000 this month. So I'm big on post your goals. That way you can be held accountable. Don't post something obscene that you really, really want. Post something realistic. And then when you hit that, because I'm confident you will, raise the bar. Go for more. But break it down weekly. Like if Nikki's after 25,000, she roughly needs to sell about 7,000 a week, a little over, about 72.5, I'd say, to hit 25,000 for the month. So it's not as big of a number when you're breaking it down weekly like that, and then she's going to track that number like a hawk to make sure she's hitting her goals. Lean into your leaders too, and lean into the trainings. Guys, we have trainings every day this week. Lean into them. Nothing's mandatory, but if you feel like you need that extra help, just reach out and get on those calls. Anything?
I have a goal to get all you guys appointed as quickly as possible. I promise you guys, I don't sleep because of it. I promise you, I'm doing everything I can. And the upside to all of this, guys, is going to be so much fun. I'm just telling you, you guys are going to, you know the difference between a goal and a dream? Because most people don't. Because most of the time, it's their same approach to playing lotto. They genuinely believe they're going to hit, and they're spending all of that money in their dreams and their fantasies, right? And sometimes they don't even play or they forgot to play. But, with a goal, you got to write it down and you're willing to do what it takes to achieve the goal. Because if you're not, all of those cliches, successful people do the things unsuccessful people are not willing to do. I could throw talent and ability right out the window. If you're not willing to do what it takes, you don't have a shot, unless it's luck. So, all right, guys. I definitely got to jump. It was great spending some time with you guys today. I don't know how to leave this thing, but
Thanks, Adam.
All right, guys, if you need anything, reach out. Go crush it this week.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Misty. Hey, Misty, you have Foresters, right?
Jason has Foresters, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna get with you because I have someone, because that once that product wants Foresters back. And so I don't want to write it on over here. So I'll get with you. I'm supposed to meet with her this evening. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Anybody else need anything? Nicole, I see your lips moving. Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Quick question. I'm like, I'm muted.
Yeah, I was like, I see her. I'm like, is she talking to me or is she talking to somebody?
Ventriloquist. No, can we ask for a release letter?
Yeah, you can go and from Levinson or from Symmetry.
Either one, whoever's
Yeah, from both. You just call you can just put in for a release.
Just call like the support, or because I was gonna text Ian and be like, look, I need a letter.
Yeah, text the corporate office. You'll have faster response than you will from Ian.
Okay.
Because Ian's gonna tell you, I don't know how to do that because he doesn't know how to do anything. Somebody probably still cuts his hot dogs up for him, but that's just...
You said hot dogs and Harlem's Tail is going crazy right now.
But yeah, I would call corporate and just tell them you need a release that you want to release so that you can get that sent to your carriers. And
yeah, I definitely want that. And then are our writing numbers going to change when we switch over? Because I just got those numbers from Levinson, so I'm like, should I use them or not?
I'm not sure. I think that varies by carrier, to be honest. I'm not sure.
Okay.
So I don't want to give you the wrong info.
I'm just gonna go through the ones I have through Adam then for now. Because then nothing will be, held up.
Yeah. They should come in pretty fast. The turnaround I've been seeing has been pretty fast. So they should come in pretty fast.
I'm not worried. I got a Forester Smart UL, I think, and I can probably pull like 2 grandparents in this week. So I'm gonna shoot for it.
All right, let's go for it. All right, I'm gonna go take this whiny dog out because he's whiny. I don't know if you've heard him.
Where is he? I can't see him.
He's down here whining. Come here. He's like, I gotta go, Mom. My legs are crossed.
I gotta go. Oh my goodness. You gotta take that cute snout out.
You gotta go outside. Is that what you want? He's like, I gotta go tinkle. So, all right, I'll see you guys.
All right.